Hello and welcome to this episode of Adventures in the Fabled Lands. Poor old Caric is in a tight spot. He's trying to let the Great Northern Army, loyal to King Negarin of Saqqara, through the Citadel by opening up the gates unseen. This will allow the Northern armies to invade all of Saqqara and replace the king on the throne. Can he do it, though? I don't know. That night you decide to make your move. You will have to get to the Great Gate undetected, and then into the winch house, where a huge cogwheel mechanism is turned to open and shut the gates. The corridors of the Citadel are regularly patrolled, but the lighting is poor, and there are many niches and shadowy corners where a stealthy person might hide. Make a stealth roll, a thievery roll. 8 plus 5, 13, that's our target. 674. 674. You sneak through the shadows of the night to make it to the courtyard at the gates. On either side of the massive steel doors, stairways spiral upward to the heavy stone towers that flank the gates. The winch house is inside the tower on the right. You crawl up the stairs unseen until you reach the winch house. Inside, there are huge cogs, ropes, and levers for operating the doors. 2 guards are on duty. You will have to get rid of them silently. Make a combat roll. 8 plus 5, 13. I'm taking that as a success. 119. You take them by surprise and cut them down without a sound. You heave down on a massive lever, and the great gates begin to grind slowly open. Within seconds, the Citadel is in uproar. Outside on the northern plain, a deafening shout from 1,000 voices splits the quiet of the night, and an elite force of Beladai's army charges the gate. Inside, the garrison rushes to the defense. In the confusion, you hope to make your escape. If you have the code word dim, turn there. We do not. If not, roll 2 dice. If the score is less than your rank, turn there. If not, turn there. Roll 2 dice. Double 12. It is higher than our rank, 375. Freedom for Saqqara, you shout. Gain the code word deliver. Beladai's men are fighting their way into the courtyard, but resistance is stiff as the garrison rapidly reinforces the gate. A dozen soldiers rush up the stairs of the winch house to try and close the gates. You hold them off long enough for Beladai's army to get into the Citadel, but you take a mortal sword thrust in the process. The Citadel will fall to the Northern Alliance, but you will not live to see the victory celebrations. Turn to page 7. You are dead. Cross off the possessions and money listed on your adventure sheet. If you have a resurrection arranged, you can now turn to the entry marked for it. If you have no resurrection, it really is the end, and you should delete all ticks and code words in your Fabled Lands books and start again with a new character. And thus ends Caric the Last. He should have died sooner, I'm fairly certain of it. But at least he died liberating Saqqara, having never made it anywhere, achieved rank 4, which I don't think is a bad rank to have achieved. He was the unspeakable cultist. He was the king's champion, and now more so than ever before, as he allowed the liberation of Saqqara to happen. It is unfortunate that this has happened. When we tried to get resurrection deals, We either didn't have the money or the means to climb up to the top of Sky Mountain to get them. We had an officer's pass, which may or may not have helped us holding it. I can imagine the valiant Caric wielding what little weapons he might have scrounged from the guards in an attempt to stave off long enough the warriors as they stormed the castle. If enough of them got through, and it is our hope that they did, they will retake that winch house and keep the gates open so that the entire armies, the united armies, can flood through and save the kingdom from the merciless hand of Grieve Marlock. That is our hope, anyway. That is our hope. Dear, sweet, poor Caric. He never stood a chance, really. On the other hand, perhaps we might think that we have spent 13 tales listening to the journeys and the trials and tribulations of dear Caric, and in a way that has made him fairly famous for a troubadour. He certainly outlived a lot of his other competitors, if there is any consolation in that. He made it through 13 books, or 13 chapters, I suppose, before he finally succumbed. At least it was a meaningful death, I think. He had had many trials at the hands of the Sokkaran government. His experiences in Yellowport, Marlock, and the surrounding areas was never good. So perhaps the new king will bring some kind of justice to the land. Perhaps. I want to thank you all for being on this amazing journey of Caric Verlasts. We've had character art, we've had discussions and debates, we've seen other characters try and do what he has done and not live nearly as long. We have seen that he had it in him to be a truly great hero, and has died as a truly great hero, for which I am thankful. It wasn't an unnecessary death. Could we have saved it? Perhaps. His first death in those caves, maybe with that scouting reroll, but hindsight is always 20/20. And after all, he was only human. Excuse me. I want to thank very much all of you for participating in the Fabled Lands and for sharing on this journey and being part of it, and I hope in some way to have inspired you to go out and pick up your copies of the books. This is Caric. This I see in the back of the book is a note that an old friend of mine made. This is easily 20 or 15 years old. I see it's got his notes. He on the one side, he was wearing pretty good equipment by the looks of things. I wish Caric had had some equipment to use. He had achieved a bit more than Caric, I suppose, but maybe had played longer. But on the back are the trading tables of all of the equipment of what should be purchased and sold, which makes for a much different kind of adventure, much different kind of journey. I hope you have picked up some of these books. They are absolutely fantastic, and you can go through them and play them in different ways. I'm fairly certain if we tried to do this again, we would have an absolute blast, as we have had, as I have had. But there comes a time, too, where you go, well, it was just Caric's time. And what was he going to do? Retire as a court troubadour? I don't think so. I don't think so. So I would say raise a mug or a glass or a whatever and let us salute Caric and his exploits, as successful or as failed as they were. To Caric. Well, it's a very short recording this week because there's not much more that can be said about our dear friend Caric, who had a list of things to gather and never got there, who had tick boxes everywhere and never got there. This is also the last episode of the Adventures in the Fabled Lands, for now, anyway. We have had remarkable viewership, far more than we thought, and we have met some amazing people. Michael Helvenstein and I have been working on the character sheet that you see behind me, which has immensely improved our experience in terms of this show, as well as interacting with the character sheet and the books. And there are some interesting things on the horizon with regards to that. Michael Helvenstein and myself, we are looking to do things that we think you'll enjoy, but that's in the distant horizon. We didn't expect Caric to meet such an untimely death so soon, although perhaps we should have. I was not the most cautious troubadours out there. So look out for that. I want to thank Dave Morris and Jamie Thompson, absolutely. I think they have been thanked for the last 20-odd years since these books came out, and I think they should be continued to be thanked for the next 20 or 40 or 60 years, as these are truly remarkable tomes. You had no idea where the story was going. Never again will there be someone who is as reckless, perhaps, or as bad-lucked as poor old Caric. And his journey is certainly unique, made more so, again, as I say, by you being here, but by the incredible imaginations of these two wonderful authors who have watched the show and participated and given the suggestions and hints, which Caric didn't listen to. I wanted to, but Caric didn't, if that makes sense. And I don't think it will if you haven't actually played through the books themselves. You'll find your character starts to take on their own personality, their own desires, and do their own thing, however tragic it might end. So, I do not think we should be sad. I do not think we should lament the loss of Caric the Last. If there is incredible support and desire for these books to continue, I will do so, but on the Twitch channel. So, with YouTube, we are we've run our course, I think, and YouTube is a fantastic space. I think Twitch makes it a better space, so that even if it isn't interactive as we have done in the past, where we've done live Fabled Land shows, it is still me just reading through it. At least I will have company, and I can glance over every now and again and listen and see what's happening whilst Caric is turning pages to wherever it is, or no longer Caric, I should say. So let me, I suppose, for the last time, erase the name of our fantastic troubadour, and bid you and yours the happiest, the most long-lived, I should say. I don't know, these books. I'm just holding all the books up because I think they're all worth a look. They're all worth having. I love them. Anyway. Until we meet again, perhaps in Twitch. And the only way I will know that, by the way, is if you leave your comments down below. And if you don't know the Twitch channel, it's very easy. Twitch.tv/GreatGM. Maybe we will once again journey into the Fabled Lands. But until then, I wish you and yours the safest of journeys of your own.